Hello, hello.
Hello, happy Sunday.
Happy Sunday.
Even though
So
it's like dreary and cold and cloudy in Oakland.
it's so cold.
Yeah.
Sorry for the rest of the country who's like, it's not cold for y'all, but it's cold here.
Yeah, I mean it's cold in the rest of the country. They're dealing with snow and they're and they're dealing with blizzards and blah blah blah. Yeah, we're trying to deal with 57 and it's freezing. But the wind is probably 40
In the rain.
in the rain.
We're gonna see. So I had it's so funny. I was like asking somebody to help me fix the setting. So since Zoom updated at the beginning of the year, like if you watch us on YouTube, which by the way, like, subscribe, all the things, um, like it'll pop up me when I'm talking, you when you're talking, as opposed to like being both of us like it's been before.
Oh yeah.
So weird. So hopefully it's doing both of us this time. We'll see. Black woman in tech, is not me.
How are you doing otherwise?
Good. I'm so boring. I've just really chilled, doing some work, prepping for some work. This week has just been so low key and boring for me. How about you?
I was running around doing some things, had a memorial and
Sorry.
someone that was a pillar in the community, not someone I knew him, but it wasn't like a family member. And then did a street renaming for an organization that are huge Raiders fans, but also huge Oakland fans, so sued the Raiders when they left.
Boom.
um, yeah, I've been doing a lot. And then I just came from a church talking to them about the March ballot. So a lot of running around this week, very much out in the community. So that was awesome, being able to talk to people, give speeches that make me nervous, but nonetheless,
Oh.
we're well received. Sometimes you don't know, like, they're like internal physical things that manifest itself when you're nervous when you're speaking, and a lot of people don't notice. Like my mouth gets super dry
Hmm.
and I feel like my voice is shaking, but
Mm,
it isn't. And
hmm.
so, and it only manifests itself for me when I'm speaking off the cuff. Like when I have a prepared speech, it's like I'm a pseudo actress, which is something I used to do when I was in high school. I used to do monologues, but it was part of the forensics team. But anyway, when I have something
Hmm.
prepared, that kicks in and I'm fine. When I'm speaking off the cuff on myself, that's when I get nervous.
Oh, see, I'm the opposite. I'm really good off the cuff.
Uh,
I'm really good off the cuff. It was really funny. Like 2 weeks ago, um, I had gotten asked to do something. I was like, "Can you come to this brown bag, like whatever?" And I was like, "Sure." It was in Oakland. They asked me to come. I was like, "Yeah, of course." So sure, show up, listen to what people have to say. Love to learn. And I get there and like it's like brown bag with Tracy. I was like, "Wait, what?" Like
well,
me?
I think, yeah, even that is a little different because then you're just like, you're speaking with a small group of people, but when
Yeah.
it's just you and folks are listening to a speech, that's when I get like, oh my God,
Hmm.
I don't know what I'm saying.
Well, it was funny because it was like, I feel like I never leave the house. So it was like all these people I hadn't seen in a long time who were there. And
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, I guess I'll speak. And so I'm like, just chatting with them. And then 2 minutes before I'm supposed to go on, because I'm like sitting in the center of this like circle, I was like, excuse me, to the guy who bought me. I was like, what am I supposed to be talking about? And he's like, he panicked. And like he was like, well, this is what I was thinking. And I was like, oh, got it, no problem. And then was able to just like speak off the cuff. I think the prepared stuff makes me nervous because I'm like, the expectation for me is so high. If people know I'm speaking off the cuff, they're like, whatever. So, I don't know.
The funny thing is the work that I do kind of really requires a lot of public speaking. So,
Mm,
but in any case, as long as I'm prepared and I know my subject, I'll be okay.
yeah.
But yeah, but we digress
Fair
because
enough.
we are going to here to talk about GH this week, and boy, oh boy, oh boy.
Boy, oh boy. Let's get into it. You ready?
Yes.
I'm gonna just do some highlights for the week.
Mhm.
Um, Nicholas is back, has a heart to heart with Spencer, and Spencer knowing that Esme has her memories back, gives Ace to Nicholas to take out of town. Spencer refuses to go because his life is with Trina.
Mhm.
Esme pleads guilty to a B&E and gets probation. Trina lets her know that she and Spencer are going to Paris. Bye, girl. Um, Esme finds out that Spencer gave Ace away and obviously flips out. Spencer, true Cassadine shit, blackmails her to not call the police, and she turns to Ava and Cyrus. Laura is horrified when she finds out what Spencer did and calls the police, aka Dante. Um, Sonny stops Dex from unaliving Cyrus. It was my favorite thing. He was like, sorry for listeners, I was doing the Sonny don't kill him hands. Anyway, Joss gets Adam to the hospital following his suicide attempt. Mm. She has a showdown with Adam's dad.
Mhm.
Christina might be pregnant, and she has her first fight and makeup with Blaze. Finn gets info that might help his malpractice case. No one cares. Um, Drew replaces Nina with Carly at Crimson. Iconic walk in. And Jordan is taken by strange men while investigating Curtis's shooting. It was like not a lot happened this week, but a lot happened this week. What was your favorite moment?
All of no, just kidding.
Right, right.
Oh, I had a couple of favorite moments, but the best for me was Willow giving it to Nina. That
Ooh.
was, I mean, she told her, and it was wonderful. It
Hmm.
was the best thing that ever
Hmm.
happened, ever. I just,
Yeah.
read her ragged, read her for filth, for dirt, for ugliness, raggedness. Just like she was like left her like a fish out of water, just flip flopping. It was
Man. And I think it was so satisfying because you kind of didn't know Willow had a dinner.
right. Well, actually, we kind of did, but it really didn't come like before. When it was
Last
before the
season.
whole with the old Nina,
Hmm.
she would go off on the old Nina, like kind of toe for toe.
Yeah.
Except for old Nina was played by Michelle Stafford. Michelle Stafford can read everybody. It doesn't matter. But
Right.
but it still she had it in her like when she really hated Nina, she would tell her off.
Hmm.
Um but yeah, this was perfect. It was
It
everything
was
that I
good.
wanted and more.
It was good.
Hmm.
My favorite moment, I mean, I had so many. I know
Right.
y'all
There were
have
so
plenty
many.
of
That
them.
was just the top.
That was the topic we're gonna dig in because y'all know it was a week. But I loved seeing Esme's face crack when Trina was reading her. My goodness. I was like, I've been looking for Trina to go off on this girl. I
Hmm.
feel like they had kind of robbed Trina from those moments because like they did like whatever the taking Esme's memory away and making
Hmm.
it seem like that was some sort of redemption. And so we didn't truly we always got like this like balance of is she gonna go off or is she not? And so her just kind of like nice, nasty, like, oh, we're leaving out of town, like just knowing I actually don't have to like drag you. I can just give you facts and
Hmm.
it's gonna crack your face. I loved every minute of it.
Yeah, that would be number two. That my favorite line though. Well, Willow had a great line too. my favorite line on that scene was, "Oh, by the way, Spencer and I are not thinking about you."
Listen,
I
I said me.
was like,
It was it was really, and I loved it because I thought Tabiana and Avery were just like really good scene partners.
mm-hmm,
I think yeah, it was like the give and take of it.
mm-hmm,
I think that as actors, they probably like really enjoyed doing that scene. And you know, when
mm-hmm.
people enjoy doing scenes, it comes across.
Right.
And so those two, like we know they're friends off camera, they've talked about their respect for each other. So the
Mm-hmm,
kind of like being able to play on camera together and have that
mm-hmm.
chemistry, like that rival chemistry, I think really came through for them.
It was, as the young kids say, it was giving Carly and Ava. It was that. It was that on point for me. It was definitely giving Carly Ava.
I enjoyed the two of them together. I enjoyed them letting Trina have some backbone.
Mm-hmm.
Um and just being like, girl, this is what it is.
Mm-hmm.
And like kind of seeing her, because she like, I see that you're trying to be a little tricky, and I'm gonna let you know, put you on notice. I see the trickery, girl. I see
Mm-hmm.
it. And I liked that.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. Those were, yeah, those were awesome scenes.
Yeah.
Um,
Performer of the week. Tell me.
oh, that was hard.
Hmm.
Um,
Baby
so I'm
Ace,
gonna
obviously.
I'm so well, so here's the thing. I'm a little sad that Nicholas took baby Ace because now we don't get to see the Clay twins. Oh my
Yeah.
God, they are so adorable. So
Precious.
adorable,
When
precious.
he reached
Oh
out for
my
Nicholas,
God.
I cried. I said, "Oh my God,
As a
baby."
baby. Okay, so I'm gonna have to though, I'm gonna have to give it up for Nicholas Chavez. And the reason
Okay.
why, he had the most visceral 15-second scene for me when he said, "You were my whole world,"
Mm,
and was crying. And I was just, every time I see that scene, every time, and I've watched it 5 times, 6 times, whatever, I am in tears and bawling.
mhm,
It was
mhm,
so visceral. And I'm like even thinking about, I know why it was so visceral for me, but it
mhm.
was just amazing.
Yeah.
And I love how it wasn't even just that scene. There was a scene, the scene when he was with Laura and telling her, he had physical tics going on. Like his body was conveying to me how nervous he was to tell Laura the truth that he gave the baby away. Like his
Mhm,
eye was twitching, you know,
mm.
and he
When he
was,
grabbed her hand.
and then he grabbed her hand and he was like, it was like he does the acting, the physicality. Him and Finola Hughes are just are kind of like that. They have like not only just the emotional, but their body displays the emotion as much as their face and their
Mhm,
voice.
mm.
And man, he's going to be phenomenal. Um, no matter what his future is. And I'm just going to try to enjoy him as much as possible while we have him. Because when he
Yeah.
gets some really great writing, really great scenes, he's just on point, phenomenal, amazing. And
Mm.
I'm just, oh my God, I'm sad that he's going to be going away soon, but he so deserves this. He deserves every opportunity in the world. I hope um, his time on that Netflix monster show is amazing because he's going to be working with amazing actors there.
Yeah,
Um,
Bardem
Javier
just got
Bardem, I was
cast
like,
as his daddy. I said,
oh
okay.
my God, he is so blessed right now. He's about to get so much exposure. It's going to be amazing. But yeah, but there was a lot, right? I loved, again, Willow coming out, yelling at Nina. I loved Avery Pohl. Like when she comes to realize that Spencer didn't just let Nicholas take the baby, he gave the baby. She's like, "You gave away my baby." I was like, "Oh, I'm yeah, you deserve it, but oh, I'm sorry. I
Hmm.
was just like, it was amazing. Adam Huss, he got a lot of flowers this week, and that was well deserved because his performance was amazing. Yeah, all the folks, Tabiana, there's a lot that was so great from the actors this
Hmm.
week. So I'm just naming those that
Yeah.
really, really stood out to me. But yeah.
I think that it's so clear that GH, I mean, just like when it comes to actors,
Mhm.
like the excellence is just clear and it's there. And for me, even when the writing is not what I want it to be, or I have like all these critiques. I mean, if you listen to the show, you know we got critiques of this writing sometimes. But it's the performances that keep me coming back. I wanted to talk about two people. So one, Finola, she was on for so short this week, but just even one, she brought such a great performance for me out of Cameron Matheson. Like it was like vulnerability, and it was like a lot that we don't get to see from him because so much of his story is really just being Carly's sidekick. You know what I'm saying? Like he doesn't
Right.
really get a whole lot to do. And
Mhm.
so when he was with Finola, she really like you could tell, I mean, we know from being at Vanna Live and all of that that she's a person who loves to rehearse. So
Mhm.
she called Cameron like, Cameron, get up in here. We're about to run these lines. And she was directing him. JPX talked
Right.
about how she directs their scenes. It was just, I thought, really beautiful, and I thought her performance was beautiful. It was so short, but it stuck with me, even when she was talking to him about shooting Charlotte.
Mhm.
Just like those moments, like that, like you say, you could see in her voice, her eyes, like she just has it.
Right.
They're like, girl, you got 2 minutes, and she said, say less. You know what I mean? And she just really brought it out. And then I do want to talk about Adam Huss. I think so, like, that I've always loved Nicholas. Like, Nicholas has always been my character. And I felt like the last portrayal, like there was like some humanity lost in that portrayal. Some of it was the writing. I mean, the writing was, I mean, what can you do, right? But for Adam, it was so grounded. He's talked about and tweeted about the fact that he's like watched the dynamic that Tyler Christopher and Nicholas Betchel had, and you can tell. And so what made the scenes between him and NAC so beautiful to me is that that dynamic that I had missed and loved was back. And I didn't think it was going to be because so much as recent history has happened. For them to like come in and be able to like make me understand that there's love there. I think the last portrayal of Nicholas like really portrayed them as rivals. Like it was like, oh, we are friends or we are peers. And that's why it was a little off to me. What Adam has been able to bring in was like, you are my son and I love you. I messed up. I'm gonna mess up. Like, we know on soaps parents mess up over and over and over again, but there's still that love there, and I didn't feel that love before with the last portrayal. And this portrayal, I was like, oh, that's his daddy. And it really brought out, you could tell Nicholas also wanted to show up because his scene partner was showing up as his daddy. And so I just think, Adam got a lot of flowers. I think they were well deserved. I think he, in such a short time, especially given the last set of writing that we had for Nicholas, has really reminded us the dark prince of that character. And not just the darkness, but the prince. And I really like, all love, all shout outs to Adam and being able to to do that with Mora as Ava, with Nicolas Chavez as Spencer. I think that it was sad we didn't get a little bit of him and Jeannie together as Laura, but I'm hoping that we do. Um and obviously like just having that gentle touch with baby Ace. Such beautiful scenes, and I really enjoyed them.
Yeah, the comfort level of a baby is so on point. Like babies know who they don't like. And then they don't lie. They have no reason. I mean, That's what I'm saying. It's not like little baby Ace is taking acting classes. He's just going to have chemistry with people he's comfortable with. And
Mm-hmm.
it was amazing. It was
Mm-hmm.
beautiful. And I read in articles that it was a little earlier than they thought, but they, went with it. And so again, it just speaks to the skill of both actors to be able to be in the moment and be
Mm-hmm.
able to convey, what needs to be conveyed in the scene, regardless of what's thrown at them.
Right.
Um,
Exactly.
it's very poignant.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I also want to point out that this is like the second week in a row that we have like had really great things about to say about the show. Because
It was like this
sometimes
is very great. It was very awesome week. And I'm
mhm,
thinking the writers are the writers are back. I guess this is we're seeing when the writers are back from the strike and just trying to fix things and clean things up, and
mhm,
it's great. And it's not even sweeps is in February, correct?
right. Mhm.
So we've been swept, and
They're
y'all gonna
setting this
come,
up.
what, you guys are gonna come back and mop and spit shine the floor? I don't know. But we're swept. I feel comfortable walking around in white socks right now.
Ah!
I feel great. Thank you.
I love it. That's so fun. That's really funny. Um, I feel comfortable walking around in white socks. Amazing. What's working for you?
So much. um
Tell me one at least.
Shoot. We have been talking about how Nina has just not really felt the wrath of General of Port Charles the way she should.
Hmm.
And boy, she is being shunned. She's being shunned by Sunny, by Willow, by Carly. Oh my God. Drew kicked her butt to the curb. And that works for me. Um,
Hmm.
Number
Hmm.
two, what works for me? Not seeing Cody this week works for
Ah!
me. And number three, I like the fact that it seems like Jordan is getting a story, even though it's a little related to Curtis. It's going to be without Curtis because Curtis is away recovering. That works for me. And
Hmm.
so I'm hoping that, maybe it's going to be Jordan and Anna, because now Anna's the only one that really knows that something is off because Jordan missed an appointment. But that will be an awesome dynamic duo, Jordan and Anna on a caper. And maybe it'll help Anna kind of recover a little bit of herself. Um,
Right.
yeah, so I'm liking that. I'm hoping and praying that's the case. GH, if you're listening, writers, if you're listening, DM us so we can tell you.
DM.
Those are the three things that are kind of working for me.
Yeah, I mean, I have. It's so funny. I told Tanya before we started recording, I was, I'm gonna get a text from my niece, and here it is. And that's the only person who can get to my do not disturbs. Anyway, um, while we're recording, teenagers, y'all. Um, I, for me, it really is soaping this week. And I want to talk about two specific stories. So one will be Spencer giving away Ace, and then the other, like, really wanting to deep dive more with you into Nina and Carly and Granny Wars Part 55. Um, like, 'cause it's just so much, my Lord. So I was so interested. And I think that there's, for me, like a difference between me being like, oh my God, this is a mess, versus me not liking something happening. And so the whole Spencer giving away Esme's kid thing, I've always hated Esme. You can look back to any version of this podcast of me being like, Avery's amazing, such a great actress. They should have did something with Esme. They went too far with her, um, and they didn't know how to walk it back. And even I was like, you gave away her baby? Like, what? And even despite all the things that we gushed about with Adam Huss's Nicholas and Nicholas Chavez's Spencer, it did not give me enough for me to be on his side or Nicholas's side or Spencer's side on giving this baby away to his daddy who has done nothing but disappoint him. I was like, wait, what are you doing? Um,
But you know what
I
you
oh,
know
go
what
ahead,
it
please.
reminded me of? Like, remember way like you how long have we been doing this? But early times when it was like the four, Jocelyn and Trina and
Spencer and Cam.
Cameron,
Hmm.
and they had their plans. Remember, we
Oh
kept
God.
talking about they have these really stupid plans, but they really be doing some stuff that's like they didn't really think about it. But we were kind of like, yeah, go team. But it was like stupid, stupid, stupid. That's how I felt about the whole baby. Like that was the wrong choice. But I was like, okay, you doing what you feel that you're needing to do, but that wasn't the right thing to do.
I also love how much people were like looking at him. He was like, she called me Spence, and everybody was like, are you fucking kidding me?
Even
Everybody
though we know as an audience that he's correct, but everybody else was like, that's the only evidence you had.
like even Cyrus was like, so what? Like it was that like that was really funny to me. I am interested to see how they play this. And I'm always like keeping my eye out for how Trina is received because what is Trina gonna say when she finds this out? And is she still gonna want to go to Paris with him? But
Right.
I do know in the spoilers they go on an adventure together. I wonder if the adventure is to go to Paris or to go find Nicholas. Like what happens? Also, like how does Spencer get away kind of scot-free with giving a baby away?
Mm-hmm.
Um, there's like a lot of conversation about like whether it was okay. Esme is the custodial parent.
Mm-hmm.
It is not okay to give the baby to Nicholas legally, is what I'm saying. So I'm interested to see, and I loved it happening because I think it sets up so much soap. Like
Mm-hmm.
we know Laura's gonna be upset about it. Laura, I'm wondering if she's gonna look at it like two Cassadine men or Cassadine men took Nicholas from me. That's the reason I couldn't raise Nicholas. You
Mm-hmm.
shouldn't have done that to Esme.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I'm I'm also wondering, I'm also wondering, like I know how I receive her, but I'm wondering how the audience at large will receive Esme, because I think that like this is gonna set her up back into her villain era. But as a mother who lost her kid and feels like alone and like nobody's on her side, what would you do?
Mm-hmm.
I think if the writing is setting up us trying to be on Spencer's side, which I don't know, maybe it is and maybe it isn't. Um, I do think they should have done more with Esme. Like we even getting her memory back, it did not set up to us that she was going to be a bad mother. She did forget Ace that one time with the nanny, but like I would have liked to see a little bit more. I would have liked to see her like in the park with the baby and like peeping on Spencer and Trina and not paying attention to the baby and like other things that would show she was like a danger to Ace. But the show has been doing this really weird like pseudo redemption to make us believe she's a great mom. That was like what everybody said about her, even Spencer.
Mm-hmm.
To then be like, nah, she don't deserve this baby. So like I thought, like I said, even having complicated feelings about the characters that are involved with it or what they did or why they did it or their motivation, I like what it sets up and I'm curious to see what happens next.
Yeah, I almost wish, I mean, for me, I would have liked her doing something actually evil.
Hmm.
So, yes, her personality is back. She still don't like Trina and Spencer together. She
Right.
still feels like like she felt justified doing everything. But I also feel like she still is on a road of redemption. And I think the kidnapping will actually bring more sympathy to her. Um, and so I'm actually really curious how Trina will react to this because, even though everybody was angry that or upset that Esme got away with breaking and entering, Trina was like, I don't want you to go to jail for breaking and entering. I want you to go to jail for what you did to me.
Right.
I don't even know if she'll actually receive the fact that Nicholas or Spencer gave away the baby. I don't think she'll receive that in a great way. But I don't know.
Hmm.
We'll see. But it doesn't seem like the Trina that we've been seeing would be like, yeah, you took her baby, so now let's go to
Right.
Paris and move on. I think she's gonna feel some kind of way about it. She's gonna be like, you did what? Why? Well, I mean, that's not
Yeah.
cool. So yeah, maybe they are gonna go on an adventure and look for Nicholas. I'm actually hoping that the Adam Huss and the Nicholas that we saw will think twice, be like, yeah, I took him, but I also think it's probably not the best thing to do. And
Hmm.
maybe actually come back because he didn't get a chance to be with his mom. Maybe he'll like, okay, I'm giving Ace to you. Make sure that Esme doesn't do anything to my child.
Hmm.
Like, I don't think he's still brave enough to actually turn himself in and go to jail, but I think he might. I'm hoping that he might actually turn the plane around and be like, Mom, come and get Ace.
Hmm. Well, we do know, um, well, we have heard Laura set up that like he could come back and like beat whatever, like that it was like word of mouth
I
or
mean,
whatever. Like,
he could, as a Cassadine, he could beat the charges. Yeah.
yeah, so we have had that set up.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I am interested because, like, for me, this is like clearly like a off ramp to do whatever they're gonna do with Nicholas Chavez, as he goes to like record his show. And that's why I've always wondered and worried about Trina and what stuff means for that character. Because I know, and I've talked about this before, how they treat Black characters. Um, Look at Phyllis. We ain't seen Phyllis forever. Phyllis, her whole thing was to like normalize Sona and to make it feel like this was like not trifling, even though it was, or at least the beginnings were. Um, and then she disappeared. The Black hospital used to be really centered on Trina, and now it's centered on Curtis. And so I do always wonder like what stuff means for Trina. And so I don't know. I don't know how it's gonna be written. I don't know how the audience is gonna receive it. I know if me, staunch Esme hater, was like, "Ugh, I don't know, this feels weird." I do wonder what like the audience at large will feel and how like Spencer is getting away or leaving or whatever going to be off screen with this while Trina is going to have to deal with the implications of whatever happens, whether good or bad, whether she is like, yo, this was foul, you can't do this, like we gotta go like find this baby, or she's like, ha ha ha, took a woman's baby. Like I just wonder what the plan is for Trina's character, what they're setting up next, and then like how the audience in general will receive it. Because I know that that really impacts Black characters in a way that it doesn't impact white characters. So I'm interested. I mean, like I said, this sets up a lot of soap. So I'm really interested to see what happens next.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah. So Carly and Nina. It was delicious.
It was so delicious.
So I want to say so many things about it. And it's so hard to like separate what I want to say because I enjoyed it versus what I want to say to like push back on like critiques of it. Um so what I will say is I really enjoyed Carly's walk-in. It felt fierce. It felt like for me, this character has lost her husband, lost her hotel, had to like deal with losing her best friend. And we have seen her like slowly but surely kind of like come out of that.
Mm-hmm.
And I think this actually is probably really good for Nina as well. Because with Nina, she kept Sonny from his family, and out of it, she got a husband in a hotel. And so there's like all this stuff about like, this bias writing and all this stuff against Nina. And I'm like, Carly and her family not liking Nina is not bias. Like, it is not a pile on. We never got to see, for example, like Christina hating on Nina. We never got to see like the town who Sunny is supposedly like now the pillar of this community being like, I can't believe this man is with this woman. We never got to see like Miss Wu or like other like mob people position what Sunny did and how he put his family to the side for Nina as a weakness within his business. We just got to see these two characters, and I think that there was so much lost by having it just be about Carly and Nina and not about the fallout from the whole family. We never got a chance to see even Nina after everything was kind of said and done, and she was like really getting close to Sunny's family, having like a quiet moment with Ava and looking at Donna and Avery and being like, "Oh, I'm so glad I got this second chance." Like I can now see what my actions did with taking these girls' father away from them. We never even got a real conversation because they disappeared Christina from the canvas and then brought her back as Kate Mancy. We never even got a real conversation between the two of them, even though they were good about what it meant. And so much of that writing for Nina has not been about, and I've said this before and I'll continue to say it, has not been about Harley and being Carly's rival. It's been about being Sunny's love interest and how to make her palatable, that's a word, as Sunny's love interest and not hold her to account and like make her a pariah because they couldn't make her the pariah that they needed to make her so that she could dig her way out of it in order to like come out on the other side. It was so skipped over. And so now we're getting this chance to see that. And actually, like, if she turns villain on Carly and Drew, that would be great. Part of the problem with Nina is that it's in both the writing, and I don't mean to say this in a way that comes at Cynthia, because that's not what I mean. Cynthia, like, clearly wants, like, has a lot of sympathy for Nina. Like, I've never liked the character of Nina. I didn't like Michelle's Nina. I don't like Cynthia's Nina. Michelle's Nina actually felt like a rival to Carly because she was kind of like an unapologetic bitch. And with Nina or with Cynthia's Nina, like she definitely tries to make you see in her portrayal, make you see where she's coming from. So that's why you get the kind of like sad face within the like, I'm mad, like in the same scene. And I just feel like now we're at a point that it actually is probably going to be good for Nina's character that this thing happened that was very concrete, was these people coming for her, not just in a way that's like side eye and mean, but like I took your shit. And now she's gonna be able to like clap back and it's gonna feel like this is worthy. They're like, this is, she's supposed to be clapping back. And so now we have a rivalry. Now we have like actual, like the two of them versus each other on equal, like more equal footing. Let's go.
I still don't think she's on equal footing with Carly, but I think there's still I'm liking that people are realizing what we see and not so much what fans of Nina see.
Mm,
So what
tell me
was
more.
important for me when Willow said, what's sad is that yes, you hurt me and Michael and Wiley, but what you don't realize is that you're hurting yourself or you don't even actually know yourself. You don't even hear yourself. That you
Mm,
are selfish and that you are, all these things. And it really, so Willow saw it when Nina was just all too happy to tell Carly and Drew that Michael was the one. that knew and was blackmailing her. Like,
Mm-hmm.
and she tried to tell Willow, I only did it because I didn't want to hurt you or whatever. And Willow saw right through that.
Mm-hmm.
The second time it comes out was when Drew was firing her. Now, obviously, you don't want to be fired. Yes, Crimson is, something you've worked on for so long. But
Mm-hmm.
for her to throw in his face that something like she said something about how are you going to destroy your daughter's legacy, and it was just like she was so self-righteous and she was so like, you can't fire me, I am Crimson, I'm this and I'm that, and you did this and you did that, you're the one who broke the law and blah blah blah. There's like this deep lack of self-awareness. You threw
Mm-hmm.
this man in jail. He has every right to be angry at you.
Yep.
He, of all people, has every right to be angry at you. And yet you still lack the self awareness that you need to be apologetic, that you need to take this beat down and go crawl into a hole somewhere and get yourself right and then come back into society. No, she's like, I was right. I did what I needed to do. You have no right to be angry at me. I am everything and more. And
Right.
so that's why I enjoyed what Drew did so much, because
Mm-hmm.
she still does not feel sorry at all. She may
Right.
say it. She may, do the whole like, oh, sorry, I didn't mean to hurt you and blah, 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 but we can get past. No, what you did, what you need to have some self awareness of what you did was wrong to everybody else, and she doesn't have that yet. She has still not hit totally rock bottom, I don't think. And the
Mm-hmm.
reason why I don't think she's on the same level as Carly is because people were trying to show, or at least I was seeing videos, old videos of Carly being evil and blah blah blah.
Mm-hmm.
And she was being confronted by Michael for lying that Jax was dead.
Oh yeah, that's right. I forgot about
And
that.
people were like, see, Carly does stuff too, and blah, blah, blah. But what was different is that Carly was not liked by anyone in the room at the time. Like,
Right.
folks were like, Carly, you bitch, you better tell the truth. And Sonny was going off on her, and Kate was alive going off on her, and Alexis was going off on her, and Elizabeth was in the back doing her smirk and, high horse stuff. And everybody was just looking at Carly like, this evil bitch did this again. And everybody in the room was hating her.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't just the people she wronged, it was everyone, the whole town was giving Carly the evil bitch side eye. And,
Mm-hmm.
and Nina has not had that. So that's again what
Right.
to you're saying is that she has not truly been shunned by Port Charles for all the wrong that she has done. In the
Mm-hmm.
same way that Carly has, or even Elizabeth has. Elizabeth was shunned up into an insane asylum. What she did for
Mm-hmm.
to Lucky. Like, people have really been
To
like
Lucky, to Drew when we
to
thought he
Drew.
was Jason.
Right.
That's how she got with
Everybody.
Franco.
I mean, everybody, if you've been really bad, you are super, super shunned by society. Ava has been shunned. All these people who have done bad and have redeemed themselves in some kind of way. And so it seems unfair that Nina gets some sort of redemption without actually truly being sorry or truly being punished.
Right.
Um,
I oh,
yeah,
please go ahead, please. I'm
I'm
sorry.
done. Yeah.
Oh no, it's like I've seen like I mean it's hard because like I don't do so Twitter, but like I'll see some of the stuff in the for you because I still follow people who tweet about the show. And so I'll see some stuff sometime and I'm like, what did I just read? It's so wild. So like I read something like, Nina is like the Karen, or not Nina, but Carly is like the Karen of Port Charles. I, do y'all know what a Karen is? Because I really feel
Right.
like
I think
the
that's
Karen
Nina.
is actually Nina. Like
Yeah.
Nina seen a fake black British dude taking her stuff. It was like security, like call the cops.
Right. She had so much attitude for that worker. And I loved how he was just like, whatever, lady, I'm doing my job.
Like my favorite fake British accent. He was like, I'm about to go have my beans on toast, and I'm gonna come back. Like, are you having a laugh like this? He was not having it with her.
And he actually
Um,
didn't. He didn't really leave until Drew walked in the room. Like he was
right,
like, "I'm still
exactly.
taking all this stuff. I don't care with your little histrionics."
I think that to your point, it's also like let's talk about what Carly because I just really it frustrates me when I see this like this like side that's like Carly's never lost anything. I'm like one of my favorite. I will never forget because I actually like it when my faves lose stuff and then they come back from it. So one of my favorite things was when Sunny cheated on Carly on a boat. I was cackling at
Oh
the
yeah.
setup. I was like, oh, this is so heavy-handed. Where it's like she went to go check on Dante. She got on the boat. She's like, oh my God, it's so beautiful. Look what this man has done for me. And then she walked in on him having sex with Nina. That's not a loss? What are you saying? How is that not a loss?
And an embarrassing loss
An
too.
embarrassing loss. It's just like what like I
Mm.
Nell's whole existence was Carly's comeuppance. Nell was brought on to mirror what Carly did to Bobby.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
And
Nell slept with
Nell
Sonny too, right? Or pretended to sleep
she
with
pretended
fake
to, she
slept,
pretended to.
right?
And then in that time, like Jason and Sunny were like lying to her about, well, not Jason, but it was Drew, lying to her about it. And then Nell pretended like Carly like hit pushed her down the stairs. Carly lost everybody, including Jocelyn testified against Carly saying that she did this. Carly was put in an asylum, damn near electroshock therapied, and then Jason is the one who busted her out. So this idea that she's never like lost or hurt or faced pain, like she is the kind of character, she's a lead, so she's not going to stay down for long. She's going to come back up. And so this idea that she's truly never lost is just really a wild thing. I saw this other, then I will stop talking about Twitter, but I saw this other tweet. It was from somebody who was straight up like, I don't really watch GH. I watch Days more, but and like tried to compare Carly to Sammy Brady. Now, mind you, I grew up on Days. I love Sammy. Sammy and Carly are the same kind of characters. Not anymore because they've allowed Carly to grow up. Um, and it was like, oh well, Sammy brings this other thing, and um, I forget what it was, but it was just like these are like they were like, oh, she's not. They're not trying to push Sammy as being like this matriarch, right? Because they still have Sammy's parents there. They still have this like elder generation that is there. Why would Sammy need to be the matriarch when you got Maggie? Or you know what I'm saying? Or when you have Sammy's mama, or when you have Kate, like, and they've turned Kate around. Like that's what happens when you age characters up. Like where it happens where like, yeah, they still gonna do some mess, but their relationship with people in the town is gonna be different. Carly and Sam and Carly and Liz, Carly and Sam are friends. Carly and Liz are married to Hatchet because they're grown now. So it like the same idea that like, oh, Carly gets placed in this light that she's like now this matriarch. We just had a whole thing where people where Diane was talking about how Sunny is the salt of the earth, talking about how he should get off from beating a man with his bare hands. And then we had Christina hype up Sunny as being like level-headed, while we know Sunny had just sent off Dex to kill Cyrus. And there's not a problem with that. That's not hypocritical. That's not a problem. It's just Carly. Why?
They're jealous of our hair.
Right. I mean, it's bouncy. It just,
It's
it just, and I think even with Nina, I, I don't know what like the agreement was when Cynthia came on, because it was like this little moment in time where it seemed like they were because tearing that character into somebody different. Because Nina came on as a mess. She, the Sam of it all, the Ava of it all, the like Franco, the like all like even the way she treated Willow, like all of that was like a mess. And then we had Valentine just doing her so wrong. And so when Cynthia stepped into the role, it was like, okay, she about to get her comeuppance on Valentine. It felt like she was coming like around with Ava. So it did feel like a little point, like her and Jax were different. It did feel like this little point where they were like pushing her to be like a very different character, to be quite honest. And then she got in this like rivalry or whatever with Carly. But the character of Nina has never been a heroine. She's always been like an anti-hero. Always. So like this idea that like she's so wronged by people. She's not. All that she's done to Sam, and Sam had holidays with her. Like they only play into her history when it's convenient. They don't play into like the bad parts of her history when it's inconvenient. Anyway, we talked about this for a long time. I loved it. I loved it as a soap. I love it as a soap thing. Um,
And but
I
I also want, and I didn't do this, but I also want to give Cynthia Watros props because I mean she viscerally made me angry. I mean, she was really angry and self righteous and everything, and she played that to the hilt. So props on that too, that performance.
She did. I also appreciated her like couldn't wait to tell Carly about Drew and about Michael, Carly and Drew
You're
about
right.
Michael. And then when
Yeah.
she got with Willow being like, they made me. I didn't want to say
I
it.
didn't.
Willow was like, I just saw you.
I
And
was just.
and that's actually what I feel about that character. And like this like difference between her and Carly, I
Hmm.
feel like Carly does things and she is like like she walked in with the face,
Hmm.
with the smirk, and like she's unapologetic about it. And I feel like what some people read for Nina as like sympathetic, I read as manipulative,
Hmm.
right? So it's like the emotions that happen in the scene, like I feel so bad, but I'm a bad bitch. I feel so bad, but now look at me. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Like that kind of stuff like doesn't read to me as being like sympathetic. It
Hmm.
reads to me like, girl, what are you doing? What are you talking about? And like there are things that if she just went straight forward with it, like if she would have just bought Carly's hotel and we wouldn't have had the like pretending like she was gonna give
Oh,
it back.
should I give it back? Or I was buying it so she can have it and she can buy it back from me. No, you bought it so you can be petty. Own
And
it.
then if she would have kind of came in petty, like, I mean, you could get it back, girl. You know what I mean?
But
Like
yeah, like,
I would have
I will sell
more.
it to you for 500 million.
Or even like
Right.
trying to belittle her, like, you can take this thing from me. But trying to like pretend like she was trying to take the high road doesn't even like jive with what she's saying she believes Carly did to her. It's like, oh, I believe she killed Nell. Well, then you should never have anything nice to say to her. You should never try to like be in her like atmosphere. It should all be petty if that's what you believe happened. It doesn't make sense. And that's why I appreciated Willow just being like, no, girl, that's not what happened. She didn't try to kill Nell. It was just, I don't
Oh, that's another. Oh my God, I can't get over it. She was like, well, let me tell you a fact. Carly did not tell me about you because I told her I didn't want to know. And he was like, no, you didn't believe it. I was like, yes, I did, because I didn't want someone that's like you. I was like, finish her. Like the card.
yes. And I didn't think that that absolved Carly. I always said that Carly should have told her and let her make the decision. But I felt like it was more of a slap in the face to Nina to be like, you are who I always thought you were. I tried to give you like a chance to be different, to be better, to have a relationship with you. But you know what? This is exactly what you are, who I thought you were. So anyway, I said that to say I think that now it like she is getting her comeuppance. She is getting people coming at her. And so it does give her this opportunity now to like swing that character around and to be like unapologetic about like so we don't have to hear this back and forth or this like trying to pretend like I'm trying to be soft with you, but you made me mad and the same. I don't that doesn't interest me. I'm interested in her just going for it. And I think I'm not gonna like the character, but the character won't trigger me as much.
One final thing
Please.
is I really like that when Carly walked in with her black outfit, I was like, this harkens back to her all white suit when she went into the meetings with the five families. She came in with that same confidence and
Yes.
strut. And I was like, yes, go ahead, queen. There you go.
I literally gasped and like
Like,
applauded.
right.
It was really good.
And I was wondering, I was like, because I had saw a preview, so I was like, is it really gonna happen? Because she was still talking to home chick at the thing,
Pam, yeah,
right? And
yeah.
I was like, is she gonna do it? Is she gonna change her outfit? How's she gonna do it? She gonna do her hair because her hair wasn't curly. I mean, she got laid. Her hair was like her hair was on point. The suit was on point. She went to the salon. I bet you her nails were on point too.
Now she went to the salon and
I
was
think she
like,
got.
listen.
I need the press and curl real quick. Let's go in and slay this person right now.
I want to say one last thing about the Sunny of it all, which is and like this like trying to make it seem like there's bias writing against Nina and like all to prop Carly. Part of the like Sunny has never had a rival that they've let us see that like outdid him at any moment ever. Part of the reason we don't see Selena Wu is because they could either water her down and we wouldn't love her as much, or she would outdo Sunny.
Right. Bring back Selena. That's two.
Please.
Selena and Taggart. What the heck?
That's
Okay.
always what I say. Like when I talk about being concerned for characters, I like and how they disappear people. They disappear people of color when they're no longer like, especially Black people, when they're no longer useful to the show or to like the character they're trying to prop. So it's important that we stay on them about characters we like. Okay, talked about that for a long time. I have no regrets. I love talking about it for long. We talked about it for longer, actually.
Mhm.
What's not working?
Oh yeah, that wasn't working for me. Manina not being sorry. That really wasn't working for me. I would say that the whole, Adam suicide thing isn't working, except the dad coming into town makes it that much worse. That dad was off the chain. He was angry, he was abusive emotionally, and he wasn't even with his son. He was just being emotionally abusive to Joss, to everyone in the room, just dismissive and just like, oh, I was like, this is the character right here. But he made the story interesting to me. Um, Other than that, I was like, I could have done without it.
I could have done without it completely. But I will say that when that dad walked off the elevator, I was like, oh, he's a jerk. Like he had a jerk walk.
He had jerk all in his continents. It was like everything about him was like, I'm an asshole. Y'all better watch out.
So I'll say that story didn't work for me. One, I think it was really insensitive. I think putting something as serious on suicide as on a character that we don't even care about, um, terrible. Um, and I say this, I don't because like I don't like coming for actors and like their performances. Like being an actor is tough. Um, I ain't on TV, I can't do it. Um, and I think I'm glad I hated the story. I'm glad Eden didn't have to do the story. Story is terrible. Hope my girl walks back into a better story. And it suffered from her not being there because all the people who are anchoring the story are people who are like new to soaps. So you in soaps you don't get another take, you don't get as much direction, like all of that. And so to have like it was something where I was saying I didn't really like Tim Joss, and you were like, it'll do this is before we push record. And that's how I felt that they were doing with the performances, where it was like people came in, said their lines, it wasn't good, and they were like, it'll do to move things along. So not only did I think the story was bad, but I could not get into the performances and I could not get into those characters. Temp Joss is not Joss to me, and I do not care about Adam.
Right. That's why I was like that, that dad, he brought the energy. He brought the anger. He brought the okay, this is serious because you Adam talks about his parents and I'm just like, okay, these, apocryphal evil parents that are putting so much pressure on him and blah blah blah. You don't see him, so I'm just like, I'm not feeling it. I'm not feeling the pressure. It's almost like I felt like he was putting the pressure on himself because I didn't even see these parents, right? So they were nothing to me. They were ghosts. And so it made me really, really not care about him and his, stalkerish ways with Josh, with Joss. Um, and I didn't even necessarily, I feel bad for Evan because he was telling some story with Dex, and I was a little bit more interested in Dex than I was at like in Adam. I was like,
Mhm.
maybe we'll hear some more interesting facts about Dex, and that'll give us a clue who his real dad is. Like we don't,
That's it.
the, whatever. I was waiting for some more juicy detail of Dex's life than I was more about making sure that Adam was okay after he got drunk. I didn't care. And
Right.
then, but the dad comes in and he's all angry, and he's like those temporary character actors that bring life to a story, kind of like that reporter that we used to hate.
No,
Remember?
he was what? Yeah, no, I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah, but
He was
he's like,
more talented than this character actor.
I don't know. I think temporary character actors bring something to a story that I appreciate because they only have one day to make a point or to make it, and I
Hmm.
think I appreciate them a lot. And Adam Huss made like all these, well, he actually had he came into a character that was more permanent. So he had more to work with. But when you know really day actors come in and they do something and they make an impression that really impresses me a lot. So he made an impression or a story that I just could not give less about, and
I
so
hear you.
I admired that.
I hear you. He did not make a good impression on me, but I hear
I
you.
mean, I'm just like
He made an
yeah.
actual very terrible impression on me, and I was like, "What are these acting choices, bro?" Uh,
Well,
it was just,
he was kind of, yeah.
it was not giving for me. Um, but I just feel like also the like Sudafed and vodka of it all. I'm like, okay, so he gonna wake up with his sinuses clear? Like, what's happening? He also just like woke up after all of this. It was supposed to be like life threatening, just like okay, like it just like
Yeah,
not restrained. I'm like, so what's keeping him here? You know what I'm saying? It was just like,
having
what?
your stomach pumped is not a cool, fun, easy thing to do.
Yeah,
So
and if you thought he tried to kill himself, then why is he in this hospital room unrestrained?
mm-hmm.
Not saying, granted, I hate restraints. And it just kind of like didn't make any sense to me. I'm like, is this serious or is this not serious? It just felt like y'all are telling such a serious story and y'all are playing. That's what it felt like to me.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
um
oh, I was about to say the other thing not working for me, but did you have something more about that?
no, go ahead.
Finlandless, terrible,
I
terrible,
had done already forgot.
terrible together. Get Liz out of here. I don't even like Liz. I'm like, free her from this. This is a legacy character with deep history, deep roots, and children on this show. Why is she in this awful story with this man she does not have chemistry with? And we have seen both of these actors, both Becky and Michael Easton, have amazing chemistry with other coworkers. Neither of them even seem like they like each other. I don't know if it's a Kim like clash, a pheromone clash. I don't know what it is. They are terrible, terrible, awful, horrible. What other words? Put out the thesaurus. They're awful together. And then this story is stupid. We have not even met this man. Y'all, and now you basically are dragging this dead man to be like, well, his dumb ass didn't go to the doctor. What is going on here? I don't care on any front. And all
Hmm.
you are doing is making Finn look like a jerk. We didn't even get a chance to meet this patient, to care about this patient, to like this patient. We didn't, there's no investment. And then Liz doesn't have any other story but playing around with Finn and like doing hypotheticals in an office. End it, please. Immediately. Terrible.
Yeah, no notes. You brought it all. You said it all. I ain't got nothing else to say. Because, like I said, I forgot it even happened.
Anything else not working for you?
Um, it wasn't that it's not working, but I kind of feel like something has been dropped. Um, Ava was kind of stalked with this gun and it's like, don't tell anyone, and and about Austin. And I'm like, Nina and Nicholas was like, yeah, that wasn't me. So who was it?
Don't nobody care. Did nobody care about Austin in life, and don't nobody care about him in death. Oh
I
my
know,
God.
and I feel so it's disrespectful to Roger Howard.
Yeah.
That's why I'm upset about it. Not that I cared about Austin per se, but I feel like Roger Howard deserved more. But and it's still, I'm just like, who was talking Ava? And why?
And
Like I
why?
said last week, I think it's Jason. But anyway,
Ooh,
they dropped
that'd
it.
be interesting. I think the fact that Oh Boy was a Q and they never played that up. I think the fact that he had a relationship with Leo, they never played that up.
Yeah, the Quartermaines didn't even mourn nude stuff.
I didn't
Do they
care.
even know? Like, like, oh, I heard Austin died. Oh, okay.
They were like, whatever, he signed over his shares, who cares?
You would think they would even do that. They would be like, oh, yay, more shares for us. But they
Well,
didn't give him
he had
Oh,
already
yeah, I
signed
already
over his
signed him
shares.
over. Yeah.
There's whatever.
They didn't give it. That's sad for Roger Howard. But Roger is living his best life,
He
going on
is.
going on tours of some music band from the Beatles or whatever. Anyway.
He's living it. I have very little hot takes. What do you have?
Ooh, okie dokie. Um, I wrote on Monday, we are all Ava when the verdict came in, and she was like, what? I was like, yeah, girl, what? um, and then I then I wrote about Christina and Sunny's scene, and so I was like, what kind of Sunny is Christina imagining? She was
I
like,
don't know this man that you're talking about.
right. I was like, I don't understand. Um, and then Laura, usually, don't have a lot of negative things to say about Laura, but Laura was on something with her whole, I'm only here as, a grandmother. My position as mayor has no bearing on this case. And then 5 minutes later, I would think that since she pleaded guilty, someone would want to be lenient on Esme. I was like, so are you trying to exert pressure or not? Not that I have anything honorable or nice to say about Molly and her being a lawyer, but it was very obvious that Laura was trying to exert some pressure on Laura to make a deal for on behalf of Esme. And so she was being a tad hypocritical, I thought.
My thing, and let me get on my trainer back again,
Yeah.
that Molly is the same lawyer that told Trina to plead guilty to some shit she didn't do.
And
That
then
everybody in Molly's life told her that Trina didn't do. TJ was like, I don't even sound like Trina.
and
And she
then
said,
And then at the end, talking about, oh, for equity or whatever sake, I forgot. She did like a 100, like Trina was railroaded, and I'm glad we got this resolved. And I was like, girl, you want her to plead
meanwhile,
guilty.
meanwhile, you just out here letting Esme go. Now, mind you, I felt the whole thing was really silly with Esme. It was just like for a reason to get them in court and maybe to get her on probation. Um, it's like you broke into Windermere that's getting sold to go back to the scene of the time that you got kidnapped, I don't know, feels like some sympathy garnering to me, to Martin's point. Um, but also for real, you railroaded Trina, and now this girl can just do whatever she want to do. All right, Molly, I see you.
um, everything I said about Tuesday I already talked about, except let me just lift up Trina again. She was like, Spencer and I don't think about you at all. And I felt the snap in the head roll, even though that didn't happen. I just felt it. I'm like, almost like there were some reels of Regina King on Netflix, and they did
Uh,
a scene of her when she was in Boys in the Hood, and she was looking at Nia Long's boyfriend, and Nia Long was like, Regina was like, "Does he have a man?" And Nia Long was like, "Yes." And Regina King does this like. That's how I felt. That's the energy I felt Tabiana was giving her. It was great.
I feel
Um,
like Tabiana was happy to give that energy because she said before, that like she would handle things a little different than Trina. So I think that she likes it when she can give Trina that little bit of edge.
right. I loved it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then my reaction to Spencer giving the baby away, I was like, oh my God, they're trying to kill off Spencer because Esme is going to kill him. Like literally, I was just like, Esme is going to murder Spencer now. She's gonna be so mad.
Or get her mama too.
Right?
I said I like Christina and Blaze. I actually really like Craze, which is the name. But showing up to somebody's house is wild. Hey, don't come to my house. Do not show up to my house. Please.
Right. And
Don't do
be like,
that.
hey, you wanna go out? Like,
Because no, that's a text.
not when I've already been at home, put on my sweats, took off my bra. No, I ain't going nowhere. It's not happening. And if it was somebody I was dating, I would have been mad. Because if it was someone I was dating, I would want to make sure I looked the best. Like, and then you're gonna show up in my house when I'm looking my worst? Oh,
And you
heck
show up
no.
looking like that? You show up
You
glam?
show up looking hecka good, and I'm looking like, who shot Suzanne? That's something my mama used to say. She's like, don't be walking out of here looking like who shot Suzanne. I was like, who's Suzanne? Anyway.
That's funny.
What else did I say? Oh, Cyrus. We didn't talk about Cyrus in all of this. His shenanigans. When Esme goes to him in the hospital and he's like, I can pray for you.
That
I
and he had
was
the Bible
rolling.
Cyrus.
And then causing mess. He only called Laura and Spencer just to be causing some mess. He didn't care. He didn't care about none of that, but he was causing some mess. And he enjoyed every last second of it.
And I did too.
Yeah. Yeah.
Cyrus is just so funny, and they just really got this man in this hospital bed wreaking havoc.
Just because he can. It was hilarious. I wrote that Anna elevates everyone.
Absolutely.
Totally, just like you said, she probably ran those rehearsals and she made it a better scene. And then I wrote just one thing: carrots and hummus.
That was on my list too. Tracy, I love her. I loved her being nosy. I love Ned like being low key jealous of Michael. I loved it.
And I loved her telling him the truth, though. He was like, the thing about Michael is Michael knows how to get what he wants. And you better be on your guard because once he's over this whole Nina thing, he's going to focus right back on ALQ.
I also thought it was wild that Michael wanted them shares back. I'm like, this was not Ned's fault. Who do you think you are?
He's a Quartermain and he's a Sunny
I
kid.
couldn't
So,
even imagine Ned giving him back to him.
right, he just gave him up really quick. And I think that's one of the reasons why Tracy was like, dude, you better get on your game. He should have fought for them shares.
Yes.
And she admired Michael for having the chutzpah to be like, yeah, I'm gonna keep this secret. Yeah, and you're gonna give me my shares back.
You were holding on to him. What
He's like,
kind
I
of
let
game?
you borrow them.
What kind of a game is this? I also liked that Carly forgave Michael right away. Girl, you have done all these things to this boy. Forgive
Right. And and she knew like she made the same mistakes and she couldn't, and plus that's her baby.
him. Hmm.
She always gonna forgive Michael.
Yeah. I missed having Sante this week. They just haven't been there. I'm like, and I don't think we have a lot of spoilers coming up. I miss Sante.
Mhm. The last thing, obviously I had talked about this last time, but when Ryan Lavery's angry, he's hecka sexy, and I was just like, "Good boy, get Nina, get her." Hotness it was hot.
I
I
I
loved
love
it.
it when we I love it when we disagree.
And- it's all right. I have I have weird attractions. It
No
happens.
problem. No problem.
No,
I get it. It's not like he's ugly. I'm just not into it.
I'm into evil Ryan Lavery.
Ugh, Ryan Lavery. Uh, that's all I got. You want to talk about next week?
Yes.
Okay. Here is next week. So Monday, Laura consults with Dante about legal avenues regarding Ace. Esme visits Heather. Tracy and Scott engage in a battle of wits. Nina reels from Drew's decision. Brooklyn and Chase have a question for Gregory. Tuesday, Tracy plays along with Scott. Lucy tries to reassure Martin. Finn is anxious about his upcoming trial. Curtis awaits the result of examination. Anna is worried about Jordan. Wednesday, Curtis throws a bon voyage party for Trina and Spencer. Heather opens up to Laura. Weird pairing. Kevin appears to get through to Esme. Christina learns the result of her pregnancy test. Spinelli accuses Cody of being interested in Maxie. I love me some Spixie. Give it to me. Thursday. Laura, Dante, and Chase make an alarming discovery. Sunny advises Alexis. Martin thinks he has positive evidence that can be used in court. Jordan enlists Brick. Now, Stephen A. Smith did say something about appearing with Jordan. I was hoping he was joking.
I'm still hoping he's joking.
Robert and Diane find themselves in an impasse over Sunny. Ridiculous. Friday, Spencer and Trina arrive in Paris. Finn takes the stand at his trial. Laura voices her regrets. Ava and Sunny make plans. Valentine has a proposition for Nina. I do wonder if Nina, if it'll be something with ELQ. I am interested in seeing how, like, if I don't mind Carly having a problem at the magazine. Like, I don't, everything doesn't have to be perfect for her. I'd be interested to see if like she had some backlash at Deception or not Deception, but at Crimson.
Crimson.
I actually would love for her to bring Maxie in for like support. We did hear her laying the foundation of having a close relationship with Maxie to Felicia. Um, and they've largely kept Maxie out of the Nina Carly stuff, despite the fact that Maxie is close with both of them. So looks like some things to look forward to and some things I don't care about. So
Yeah, there's a lot that I don't care about that's happening next week, but no, I'm hoping that maybe they're just trying to keep some really good stuff close to the vest. You never know.
word.
So,
Word. All right. Well, thank y'all for listening. Another week of Sunday shift, and we will see you next week.
see ya.
Bye.
Have a happy weekend.